and hope that we get like a really good roll. That is not a good roll. We roll a d6 and then add our dexterity bonus, which is a 7. So that is an 8. You see, I'm not really lucky. Hey everyone, this is Thagos, and today I got something quite special for you because it's something I've been looking forward to for quite a while now. I would like to play through Stormweavers with you. This will be a little bit different than most of my playthroughs because while this is a game, it is mostly a storytelling game, so I will be reading a lot of story. So let's see how I do with that. You might have already seen it on social media and also on my YouTube channel in the community post section that I actually got the acrylic standees for the figures. These were sent to me by the designer of the game, so a big thank you to Pavel Jiemski. I hope that I pronounced that kind of correct. If not, please correct me. That was very kind of him to actually send me the standees here, so we have a little more premium and cool experience here, which is pretty nice. And yeah, so let me just start quickly setting up the game. Alright, that's pretty much the setup of the game. So it's not a huge setup, it's just mainly the book and then everything else we need during our playthrough here, right? So I will just be shuffling around everything just as we need it. And yeah, so I suggest that we can get started. So we start first by just opening the book here, and then we see like the game rules here. And the most important thing is the character creation. So let's just read the introduction here. So Stormweavers is a choice-based fantasy role-playing game for one player. In this tale, you are Thimin, and let's call him that way, I hope that's correct, the dwarven protagonist, making decisions that could lead either to a happy ending or glorious death. Are you ready to take up the challenge? Well, I guess I am. So what you first do is we have our character sheet here, right? So let me push that a little bit here to the left, like this. I definitely need the quick reference card here. That's something that I forgot to show off in my unboxing, right? This quick reference card that also functions as a bookmark. I mean, we also have that red one here, but it could function as a bookmark. But that kind of tells us also how how combat works, right? So that's not too bad. Let me put that aside for now. All right, so our speed is always 2, at least at the very beginning. So let's put it 2 here. Then our dexterity. So dexterity and wisdom, we have 5 each plus 4 points that we can allocate between both evenly. So I'm not quite sure. I would suggest that we just distribute them evenly for now. So that we have 7 dex and 7 wisdom, dexterity and wisdom, just to be safe, because I don't quite know what challenges await us, but I think we should be able to have enough dexterity for combat, but also we shouldn't be too stupid, right? So this is why I will put 7 for both. Then we have our weapon bonus here, that is always 0. Weapon bonus means we have 0 because we start with the basic axe, but as we get better equipment, we can raise that. At the moment we don't have any armor, so we have an armor class of 0. We have gold of 50 at the moment, and our health is 20. That is our starting health and also our max health. And you see here that we have that we have here the 20 health. And the further we get down here and into the differently shaded boxes, the weaker we get altogether. And that is a very important mechanism. So whenever I have a wisdom or dexterity check, then I roll the 2 dice. For example, now I have 7, and I need to have a value of less or lower than my dexterity or wisdom. So for example, let's say I would have rolled for dexterity now, that's a 7, and I also have a 7 here. That is wonderful. But if I have less than 10 health, but more than 4 health, so I'm in the light gray area here, then I would have to add 2 to my die dice rolls, right? So let's just imagine then I would have 6 and 3, which is 9, and that's above the dexterity score here that I have. So then I would lose, right? So that's not a good thing. All right, cool. That should be pretty much everything we need to set up the game, to make everything ready so we can play. There are a few tests that we need to use during the adventure. That's something that we will speak about later. So you saw the attribute test that I just showed you. We also have a coin test where you have to flip a coin. I would just take the one that was included in the game, right? Like this. And then we would have that here. And also we have a scratch off map. There are 3 in the box. And because you are very special to me, I will use one of those 3 scratch off maps for this playthrough. And then also we have our combat maps here. And then of course we have our little Thimin, or maybe it's called Tumin. I'm not quite sure how this one is pronounced, but let's call him Thimin for now until I get corrected. Okay, and now we can actually start, like how attacks work and everything. We will take a look at that when it's time to do so. Okay, so I think today mostly we will do like a little bit shorter introduction session, just reading a little bit, maybe doing the first 1, 2, or 3 tests or combat, whatever awaits us. Just a little introduction, and then we will continue next time. Alright, one quick note or disclaimer. This is me after having recorded this little session, and I hope you look forward to seeing it because it's pretty cool. A little spoiler, I had a lot of fun recording this, but there is a lot of story in here and just a little bit of action. That will probably be the case for the entire playthroughs, for all the videos in this little series here. So you can also do some like treat this as kind of an audio book, as a little audio recording, right? Like a podcast, for example. Just listen to the story, and when actually there is a fight, then you can also take a look at the video, because I will mostly be reading out the story. All right, just so that you're prepared for what follows next. All right, Stormweaver's Northern Border Introduction. After a 5-day trudge, you have a feeling that instead of legs, you've got 2 logs, painful logs. Half a year ago, you joined the Free Dwarf Company in the human King Ernan's service. You've walked the length and breadth of Flandria with them, but you still can't get used to the pace that the veterans impose. The core of the company comprises your kinsmen from Caledonia, marching proudly in their tartan kilts. The howl of dwarven bagpipes carries over the plain, so at least some of you are in good spirits. The evening has come. You stopped at the edge of the plain near the woods. After an hour, royals have joined, an enormous company of men, tents and pennants. You feel safer having them around. You've set up your tent and sit by the bonfire with your comrades, puffing your pipe. You've reached a place where there's no turning back, the battlefield. Who knows whether this evening is your last or not? The morale is high for everyone at the moment. Where's Kahir? Young Nadia asks. Have the deliberations ended? I'm here, says Kahir MacBrew, the captain of the Free Dwarf Company, as he joins the circle of warriors and sits on a tree stump right in front of you. Tomorrow we'll take the left flank, he shortly announces. After a moment he continues. I've heard Fomorians have joined the enemy. For a brief moment there's a heavy silence among the warriors. Nobody dares to speak. Pugh! Nadi pulls himself up, grimaces and spits. Buck's offspring. Pure evil, goddamn them. At least it will be clearly written in the chronicles who was right in this war and who wasn't, he adds quietly after a moment while sitting back in his place. What do you think, Thimin? Will they describe it as the good ones or the bad ones? It depends on whether we win or lose. You answer without taking your eyes off the fire. History is written by the winners. Besides, what does that mean to us, good or bad? We must march through mud, bash with an axe, break skulls, that's our job. It's war. If there's no provisioning, we must rob peasants, finish off enemies after the fight. Long talk, and for what? Enough songs about it. Okay, let me put that a little bit more in the middle here. Alright. Like this. I think it's pretty good. Old Bomir finally frowns. I don't like this type of gallows humor, especially before the fight. Only you seem to be laughing about this. Let's go to sleep. Senectitude has spoken. Wisdom has spoken, Kahir says. All to your tents. Tomorrow is a big day. At night you dream about the kingdom under the mountain where you grew up and about your father's wanderings. He was a sellsword, a mercenary. He came back once a year bringing money. He always said that the mine wasn't for him and that he preferred to die from an axe rather than pneumonia or black lung. When your father was not around, you didn't listen to your mother, you and your brothers. Now and then you'd run away to wander outside the city walls. You wanted to be just like him. Your mother was getting angry and hopeless when you'd come back all dirty and ripped clothes. You'd get into a fight, but there always was a warm supper waiting for you. Dreaming. It is one of your adventures. You are climbing steep stairs to the mountain of listening, step after step, but these stairs seem to have no end. After some time you reach the top and look far into the north. You see a black tower looming in the distance. You look at it for a really long time. Too long. Suddenly a muffled sound disturbs your sleep. You grab the axe and run out into the night. There's a turmoil in the camp. The royal tent burns in the middle of the place, plenty of soldiers everywhere out shouting each other. Put down the fire. Catch. Fight the enemy and hundreds of curses, of course. In the fiery blaze you see Nali running toward you. What's going on? You outshout the racket. They tried to kill the king, that's what's going on. Nali shouts back while running. A spy snuck into the camp and set the king's tent on fire. Thank God the crown is unharmed. Whoever is alive, seek the culprit. He threatens the unknown saboteur with his fist and disappears in the darkness. You stand in place for a while, gathering your thoughts, and all of a sudden you seem to see some kind of movement between the trees. If you want to dive into the darkness hoping to catch the spy, check your dexterity. If you want to sneak up slowly and cautiously to search through the bushes, check your wisdom. If you want to throw an axe into the blurry shadows. If you want to call for backup, if you think it might have been an illusion, you can go back to your tent to get some sleep before the fight. The king is safe after all. Alright, so we have 5 different things we can do now. 5 decisions. So, either we can dive into the darkness, just hoping to catch the guy. We need dexterity for that. For sneaking up, we need wisdom. It doesn't really matter because both are at 7 at the moment. But I think, to be honest, I mean, we have kind of gotten to know Thimmer just a little bit. Thimmin, I mean. But I'm not sure if I actually want to play him that much like a brute like he is pretending to be, right? I think I'd rather like to sneak up. Just throwing an axe into the shadows, that's stupid. I don't want to do that. I don't want to call for backup either because I could alert the spy. And just going back to my tent and just relaxing and chilling, that's not an option either. So let's sneak up slowly and cautiously. So we need to now check our wisdom, which means now we roll 2 dice and we need to have a maximum combined value of 7. A little warning, I'm really bad at rolling dice. I am really unlucky, so this might not come out well. Alright, let's have a 7. That's actually a 9, so it did not work. Okay, you see, this will be very exciting. And now you see that we have like these different Fs here, right? These different numbers we need to go to, depending on what happened here. So we are currently in the introduction, and this will be F2 here, but we need to go now to F7 because we failed to sneak up to the guy. So F7 is here. F7. Slowly and cautiously you sneak in the direction from which you've heard the sounds. You move soundlessly. Not even one branch cracks beneath your feet. Unfortunately, there's no one there. Well, most likely we were too loud, right? We didn't sneak well enough. I mean, yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. You're stalking through the woods till the sky starts to dawn. Eventually, downhearted and exhausted, you return to the camp to get at least 1 hour of sleep before the battle. On the way, you ask your comrades if anything has been discovered. Besides the fact that no one has found the spy, you find out nothing else than regular rumors. You go to your tent and lie down for a short nap, and in the morning... And now we jump to F5. Oh no, that looks like combat. F5. Morning. Cold and nippy wind. The company stands at the edge of a forest on a protruding hill. Rays of the rising sun shine through clouds and onto the plain. Your position gives you a great view on the enemy army, taking their positions down in the valley. There are a lot more of them than you've expected. So many more. The valley glows with the red blaze of pennants and flags. You wait patiently to see which positions they will take. Kahir silently puffs his pipe like there's nothing important going on. Meanwhile, the sun completely breaks through the clouds and another hot day begins. It's a good day to die, Nali says. A good day for them to die, you reply with a grin. Okay, to battle. Kahir breaks the silence suddenly and blows a whistle 3 times. You stride down the hill and stand close to each other with the rest of the dwarf company, forming a well-trained battlement of the northern folk. All of you adjust weapons, checking that all of the shields of your comrades touch edge to edge, forming an unbreakable wall. You wait. The sun slowly moves through the sky. The tension is difficult to manage, even by the most experienced sellswords. Finally, you can hear a clop of the hooves of a horse from afar and a royal messenger appears. He approaches and speaks with the captain for a brief moment, delivering the orders. All right, chaps, Kahir calls loudly when the conversation is over. First, the royal cavalry advances, then the rest of us follow. The cavalry charges the middle, and we take over the left flank. We'll crush these buckhorns, stick together, and bring down the mountain on them. Horns blast. The wind starts to blow as if at a signal, flapping the light blue pennants of the Dwarven Free Company. The ground trembles with the growing thunder of hundreds of horses' hooves, while the charge of King Ernan's heavy cavalry pours down the valley, with golden banners cascading over their heads. Kahir gives the signal to attack, whistling again with a piercing warble. You hear the keening, and then the howl of bagpipes. At an even pace, you go down the valley, shield to shield. They are already waiting for you, of course. Fomorians, pitch black, shaggy buckhorns, brutes of the night. At least you're the same height. It crosses your mind. So it'll be easier to cut their heads off. I like that one. Hopefully they don't have their sleazy wiles with them, you add in your mind. You hate the wiles. In your entire life you've met only one that was decent. But to tell the truth, him too. A swine. Which I don't quite get. I mean, swine are pretty cute, right? So, I don't mind swines. At least like the animals. You move to attack. You nearly have them under your axes when suddenly you can hear horns playing, but they sound different than yours. The ground trembles again, buckhorns fan out, and first you see blood-red banners emerging from the battle dust, then a charge of enemy cavalry moving towards you. Kahir blows the whistle 2 times. You stop on command, stick your shields in the ground, and prepare axes. There's no time to think. Horrifying turmoil goes over your head as the heavy riders charge into the ranks with the force of a battering ram. You stand on the left-hand side, the last one in your first row. The enemy's lance pounds into you with an enormous force, pushing you back. The impetus of the charge makes you drop your shield and fall into nearby bushes. Unfortunately, there's a bluff behind the bushes. You roll down the hill and fall down into the stream. You brush yourself off. Nothing's broken. You hear sounds of the battle above you. And then you notice that you're not alone. Before you even start to think, 2 Fomorians charge into you, followed by the ugly curses of a Wile. He shoots a firebolt out of his crooked staff. You dodge at the last moment. Fomorians rush toward you. Defend yourself! Alright, so, and now we have our first battle. So in case you were listening to all of this like like an audiobook, which makes total sense, then now you can look at the screen again, because we will be fighting now. So it does not tell me which kind of map I need to use, so I guess it doesn't really matter. So let's see. Let's take a look at all the maps we have here. Let's put the red bookmark cloth in here, like the ribbon I mean. Let's put the bookmark ribbon in there because of that, because the book will not stay open. So we don't need any of this. Let's put that up here, and then here we have our maps. And actually, yeah, they do tell us, I think, which map we need to use. Do they? Let me check again. And combat map F5. Yeah, F5, right. So let's look for F5. That's something else. F5. F5. Okay. I can't find it. I can't find F5 here. Well, no, wait. Yeah, I think F5. I think what we need to do is we just need to take this regular map here, because there's no F5 here. So I guess, I don't know, maybe I'm just too stupid to see it, but I see no F5 here anywhere. So I I just suppose that we need to, because these all have numbers. So I suppose we just need to take this map here. Makes sense. It's just an empty map, right? So let's just take this one. I think that should be fine. And then we need to put the enemies here. So I will find the enemies from the acrylic standees here, from the acrylic figures. I will find those quickly, and then we can start the battle. All right, and that is our little battle map here. I will probably use a second camera to capture that a little bit better. You see here that we have a different map now that is labeled F5. I was just being a little bit stupid. The map was here. I just didn't see it. I just had it under that world map here. That you can. I had it under that scratch off map here. I was just lying under there and I just didn't see it. So I'm just a little bit stupid. That's pretty much all, right? So we have a few things here. So we have the while over here, right? This one has a speed of 2, and it also has a staff. So it will not attack us directly, but it will actually use its staff to burn us. And then we have the 2 other enemies here. They have a speed of 2 as well. If they fall into the stream, then they take damage and they lose 2 points of health. And if we get into the stream, then we just need to stop, right? Because we just fell into the stream, and if I now move there and then I move over there, I want to move over the stream, I have to stop when I'm in here, right? So that just interrupts my movement. That's pretty much what is happening here. So yeah. And now we can see here that if we defeat all enemies, we continue, or if our health drops below 5. So it seems like, because that's the first battle, that we cannot die. But let's see that we actually defeat all enemies. All right, so let's see. So first I have movement, and then I can attack, right? I think what I will do is the following. I think because it's my turn now, I think I will not move to an enemy. I don't think that's a good idea, right? So let's see if I can move in a way that they need to move in my direction, but can't attack, and then I can move into their direction next turn and actually then defeat them. So I think the top-down view at the moment is okay, so you can see like where we all will move. So these are the 2 smaller enemies, like the Fomorakes, and this is the Weil, and this is me here. I mean, you can see that. I think I will use the other camera when it's necessary, but at the moment the top-down view I think is better. So if I move 1, 2 like this, I have a speed of 2, right? So I can move 2 steps here because I have a speed of 2. And you see the enemies here also have a speed of 2 each. So that means that this enemy 1, 2 can't quite move here because it can only attack adjacent. And if it moved here, then I'm not adjacent. So I think that's the best move of action. So now I can attack, but I'm too far. I cannot attack because I'm too far. And then it's the enemies. So now the enemies move and attack. So let's start with enemy 1 first. That's this one here. So enemy 1 can't actually move down here. Well, it can probably move onto the stone, right? Is that possible? But it will move over here, I suppose. And this one will move over here, just as close to me as possible. And then it's his turn here, the Wild's turn. So the Wild will just move. Well, it doesn't really matter, but it'll probably just move like this here. And then it will burn us with the staff, which is possible, right? Like 4 squares in front of him, he can try to burn us, and we will check against his wisdom. His wisdom is 9, so it needs to roll a 9 or lower, which is possible. That's an 8. So that means it does 4 damage to us. So let's note that down here on our sheet. So we have 4 damage already, which is not very good, right? But that's the way it is. So now it's my turn again. Let me move over here and then attack. And in order to attack, what we do is we roll a d6 and then add our dexterity bonus, which is a 7. So that is an 8. You see, I'm not really lucky, right? And then this is the number 2 here. The former rate 2 has a dexterity of 7 as well. So we will roll for them. Of course, it's better. And that is 7 plus 2. That is 9. Right? So it does have one more than we do. So it does 1 damage to us, although I attacked. It does 1 damage to us. And then we also add the weapon bonus of the enemy, which it doesn't have, and subtract the armor class that we don't have at the moment. So it's just still 1. So we take 1 damage, which is really bad, although we attacked, right? But let's see, maybe when they attack, maybe then we can strike back. Alright, so, and now we go with all the enemies here again. The first one will just move down 2, and this one will just attack us directly. So same thing again, we roll for the enemy, which is a 2, plus 7 dexterity, which is 9. And we have a 4 plus 7, that is 11. So we have 2 more. We have no weapon bonus, they have no armor class, so it stays at a 2. So we actually do 2 damage to that enemy here. And I will just somehow try to note it maybe here in the bottom right corner, like I did for other videos, how much health we all have left. I need to find a way to make that somehow look nice. I'll see that in editing. All right, and then it's this guy's turn again. He will go to the left again and try to shoot us. For that we do a wisdom check again. Let's roll higher than a 9, please. Of course not, that's a 5, so he does damage us and we receive 4 more damage. It is not looking good at the moment, but I mean, this is a pretty tough fight. I think it almost seems like this is scripted that we are not supposed to win. We can win, of course, but I think it's really tough. Alright, so it's our turn again, we will attack again. So let's do another attack roll, which is 6 plus 7, that's 13, that's really great. And the enemy will defend with a 2. Plus 7, that's 9. So we have 4 more. No weapon bonus, no armor class, so it's 4. So that is pretty nice because now he has 6 health loss. So he lost 6 health now, and but they still have 2 left. And then yeah, this one will move 2 and attack us. So that is a 12. No, that's a 13, and we defend with a 11. So they do 2 damage to us. That is not good. I don't like this at all, because you see, now we are in the gray area here, which means that we will have a harder time doing any checks later on. Okay, and then the second one will also attack and do 8 damage, and we will defeat with 10. So we actually do 2 damage to him. So that means this guy has now received 8 damage and is dead. Alright. Okay. And then this guy will also try to attack again. Let's do a wisdom check. Something high, please. That's an 8. That is under the wisdom of 9. So we will receive another 4 damage. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. We now have 5 health. It says here if we have below 5. Okay, so we are still alive, but we are not doing well at all. Okay, so it's our turn again. Well, we should have attacked this guy first, because this guy does really does a lot of damage. Well, but we can't move to him at the moment. So let's just attack this guy here and hope that we get like a really good roll. That is not a good roll. That's a 1 plus 7, that's 8. And this guy has a dexterity of only 6. So we might do better there. And defense with a 10. So he does 2 damage to us, actually. That is horrible, because now, look at this. We only have 3 health left. Which means that the fight is pretty much over. Let me just capture the battlefield with the camera here a little bit. So we see that we defeated that one guy. This guy was really making life difficult for us, and this guy actually dropped our health below 5. So yeah, let's see how the story will continue. Yeah, let's see about that. So here we go. So we are not here, we are here. So we go to f3. So we actually go back. Okay, but we can put that aside. I don't think we will battle soon anymore like this. All right, f3. Let's see where we have f3. Over here, up there. Okay. When you regain consciousness, the first thing that you see before your eyes is the ceiling of the tent. You survived, but don't feel well, wasted by fever, not knowing how serious your injuries are. After a while, Kahir shows up. Seeing him, you try to pull yourself up in bed. He looks at you with a serious expression. Are you alive? I guess so. You give a feeble response. How did he find me? By accident. After the battle, we looked for anyone who might have survived. We found you unconscious, in the stream, deeply wounded. How was the fight? He finally asked. We won, but we have enormous losses. Not good. You fall back on the bed with a groan. After a while of silence, you add, Thanks, Captain. You've commanded well. No, lousy. He frowned at the mere mention. First, horses trampled us. Then some Fomorian wild attacked us from left flank and scorched us with stickling fire. The company was decimated. Not many of us remained alive. It's good that we found you, at least. At the last moment, in fact. Another minute and we would have lost you. Well, that is true. I would have died, right? If the story didn't stop me from dying. So that was a really bad. You know, I'm really unlucky with the dice rolls. That's just a thing. This is going to be funny in more dice-based games that I will play quite soon on my channel as well. The wound is serious, Kahir says. Local doctors won't be able to heal it. Today, King Ernan is sending messengers to the north, to Utgard. They will sail over the sea. I've arranged a spot for you on the ship. The best medics in the world are there in Utgard. If they can't heal the wound, no one will. Then he falls silent for a moment. And even if it's destined for you to die, you'll at least see the kingdom under the mountain again, he adds, quieter. Thanks, Captain. It has been an honor to serve under your command, you say weakly. Sleep now. You'll be carried to the ship within an hour. You fall on the bedsheets and into a black hole of a dreamless dream. Go to 1. Okay, F seems to be, I don't know what F stands for, but it seems to be the introduction. Maybe forward, that's possible. So let's look at 1. Where do we have 1? 1 is over here. And that would be the beginning of the story. So we just had the entire introduction here. So we are pretty much done now. We probably had the worst outcome because we didn't even survive. And now we would wake up the next morning, and I think that is a pretty good moment for a cut for now. We still have, as you can see here, we still have quite a lot to go through, but there's already quite a lot gone. So it's possible that this game does not thrive on a long story, but rather on repeated playthroughs, right? Because the book is, we already have like, I don't know, it's like maybe a 7th or an 8th of the entire book. But I mean, then again, right, there is also rules at the beginning and so on, so I think we still have quite a few episodes waiting for us. Alright, so that was my introductory playthrough of Stormweavers. I hope that you enjoyed this little playthrough. So if you're still watching, thank you very much for doing so. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you will also look forward to me continuing to play the rest of the story. I'd really love to continue. This is a really simple game, right? You just read everything out, and then you have a few checks that are pretty straightforward, and you have the battles that are pretty straightforward. At the beginning, you have to see, okay, how does it all work? But it's pretty simple, especially if you have played role-playing games before. Then this should come a little bit more naturally, and I play a lot of role-playing games, so it definitely does. So thank you very much for watching. If this is the first time you're watching, why don't you head over to my channel and check out the other ones. Also, keep looking forward to the next episodes here. I will probably record them quite soon, but I don't know when I will release them, but because, as I said, I do a lot of recording in advance. But thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon, most likely in the next video. Alright, take care everyone, and cheers.